embrace what you can do and what people react to, and also think of it in a business mindset, because most creative people are horrible when it comes to making money. And don't ever tell anybody how long something's going to take, because it's not about how long it took you to paint it. It's really how long did it take you to get there.
Hey there, and welcome back, everyone, to my little corner of the podcast world to Beyond the Palette. I'm Whitney Rosenson, your host and owner of Art Dimensions in Los Angeles. Today, I'm super excited to be interviewing a fantastic multimedia artist from the ADI roster, David Wayne Heise. David's drawings are very unique, and I have just recently started working with him, so I'm looking forward to asking him all sorts of questions and for you all to get to know him. Let's welcome him in. Hi, David.
Hi, Whitney. How are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome to Beyond the Palette.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Well, thank you for being here. I know you're busy, and thank you for welcoming all of us into your creative world.
My pleasure.
All right, let's dive in. I love your drawings. What are your favorite materials to work with?
I like everything, but the thing I mainly like the best is pencil and paper, because it's something a computer can't do. You know, there's something about the hand to the paper to the pencil or whatever that I feel like makes my drawings unique, and is what makes it people want one.
What kind of pencil do you use?
Well, I have tried the really fancy ones from the art store, and I don't like sharpening my pencils, so I had mechanical pencils so I wouldn't have to sharpen, but they were too heavy, so I used the cheap ones from Staples.
Okay.
Yeah,
but those work
works
fine.
the best. Yeah.
And the paper, is it watercolor paper or?
It's a thick, clothy paper that I get from my printer, because he prints my my drawings on it as well, and it's just thick and clothy and acid free.
Oh, okay. Your drawings are so beautiful. Thank you for all that.
Thank you.
How does your training in traditional portraiture influence your drawings?
I went to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, and they teach you a lot of, you got to learn the basics before you can do anything else. But I think the biggest influence I had was my dad, because he could draw. And I thought, and I had a kindergarten and a teacher, she was a nun, and she could draw. And I would be like, I want to do that. That's what would go through my head. And I was 5 years old, right?
Wow.
Then I was always kind of like the best drawer. Like I could sketch better than most people and stuff like that, but I didn't really value it, is the best way I can say, because I didn't embrace this until much later on in my life, because I wanted to do advertising, graphic design, television commercials, stuff like that.
Okay, so for those listeners who don't know who you are, and for me too, because we've just recently started working together, give us a brief snapshot of your journey to where you are today.
Okay, so I grew up in Oklahoma. Okay, my dad was in the Air Force, so we moved wherever he was needed, as far as wherever the Air Force needed him. And so I grew up in Enid, Oklahoma, which is a small town of about 50,000 people. And I had an aunt and an uncle that lived in Beverly Hills. You know, I'd come out and visit them, and I'd think to myself, I want to live here. And my aunt said to me, who the heck ever heard where you're going to school now? You need to come out here. So I went to the Brooks Institute up in Santa Barbara, but it was basically photography. That was not my thing. And then I went to Art Center College of Design, and it was sort of like seeing heaven for the first time. This is so beautiful, because the place was designed by Mies van der Rohe. And so everything was just, you know, it was, for a kid from Oklahoma, it was super fancy. And it was the first time school ever made a difference in my life. So I really tried. And I just wanted to succeed and do better. And then, like I said, I never embraced the drawing thing. So I went into advertising. I was in it for a long time. Then I had my own company, and we designed and built websites and did, you know, logos, everything like that. Then I went from there, and I thought, you know what, I want to do what I want to do. and I did a drawing of a dog for my partner. He got so many responses from it. I was thinking something must be with this as far as my ability goes. Let's see what we can do with it. And that was 6 years ago. And that's how I ended up where I ended up.
Okay. Okay. So the subject matter, you just mentioned that you drew a dog for your partner. So
Yeah,
what's the subject matter of your drawings? And correct me if I'm wrong. You've got the dogs, the orchids, and the plants and other animals. Is that right?
it's mainly dogs, a few cats, lots of cats. If you can draw a dog, I feel like you can draw almost anything. I have an elephant, a grizzly bear that I drew. It's basically you break it down to the simplest thing, and basically what you're looking at is a pattern, right? So you start looking at a pattern of what you're trying to draw, and the longer you look at it, the more of the details you see. And my drawings are really detailed.
They're really detailed. I want everyone to know that.
Yeah, and that's where, and I always start with the eyes. So, so mainly it's dogs. That's where it started. And I love plants, botanicals of any kind, trees, eucalyptus, orchids, anything unique. There's a German photographer that did some really interesting photography of plants. And I find him really inspirational. I can't remember his name, nor can I pronounce it, but he did a lot. If you Google German photographer, botanicals from the 30s or whatever, you will see his work. And it just, the way he shot plants was so graphic. And I think because my advertising and design background, I like making my drawings as graphic as possible. And so it's mainly animals, plants, and people.
Okay. I want to let everyone know you can find David's drawings on the Art Dimensions website, which is artdimensionsonline.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, it says artists, and click on that and then scroll down till you see his name, David Wayne Heise, and then click on that and you can find his page. You can also check out his website, which is David Wayne, Wayne, Heise, HEISE.com, to see these amazing drawings. They're so detailed. The pencil work is incredible. And I might want to have you draw my dog. So we'll talk about that later. What are you up to these days in your studio?
Okay, right now I'm drawing a one-eyed cat with its tongue sticking out.
Okay.
I just got done painting a painting for a client. He lives in near like Magic Mountain, and one night evening he came out and took a snapshot of his street with his phone. Now everybody's got phones. They were like, "Oh, paint this." It was a moment in his neighborhood that he thought was beautiful. So I did a painting for him, and it took me a really long time because I thought, oh, I'll do it really painterly and da da da. It doesn't work like that. And people go, well, you don't have to be as detailed. No, it's just the way it goes. You do what you're supposed to do.
So it was very detailed?
Oh, well, the painting came out really detailed, but the thing that was the star was the sunset, and he really cared about this palm tree. And he also cared about some flags that people had outside their house, and he wanted them bigger and he wanted them a little brighter because it was like, it's all new construction and there's high power lines. So I dropped out the high power lines. I darkened the construction so it went back, and then I made the intensity of the sunset.
It's just beautiful.
Well, that's the focus, right? You always have first and second read. It's like that's how you like when you do a movie, it's like that too,
Wait, explain that.
Okay, first read is like when I look at something, say I look at a lamp that's on a table, right? I'm going to look at that lamp first because it's the brightest point, right?
Right.
Then I see the table. Oh, and then in the background, I see a curtain or a window. So it's the things that you read first, right?
Okay, I understand. What's the first creative project you remember?
Okay, so the first thing I did was I was in my office and my partners were out of town. I was like bored because, when you have your own business, you got to go out there and hunt all the time. And that day I just wasn't in the mood for hunting. And I thought, well, I got to do something for Charles' birthday. That's my partner. So I thought, well, he loves Gigi. She's a Papillon mix. So I'll draw her.
Okay.
And I've never done this before or anything. So I drew it. And then that was like I guess like Thursday. and I drew it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then my partners came back on Monday. I showed it to my partner. She goes, "Oh my God, he's going to cry." And I was like, well, I don't know if he's going to do that, but you think it's good? She goes, "Yeah, it's really good." So then I give it to him. Gigi, I thought, well, he will love this. Excuse me. And so anyway, I gave it to him, and he said something kind of insulting.
Oh, what'd he say?
But he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it the way I took it.
Okay.
So he said it looks like one of those drawings in the back of the magazine. You draw Binky, and you can go to school.
Oh, not nice.
No, well, but if you listen to why he said what he said, you totally understand. And why he said it was he drew Binky one time. They called him up, said, "You're good enough." And he had this guy come out and talk to his parents, and they wouldn't do it. And so that was a dream of his. So
Okay.
you look at that, and I said, well, I go, my partner said that you would look at it and go, "Oh my God." And then she said you'd cry. And so anyway, just at that time, he looked at me like, why would I cry, right? So just then, his client, he's a hairdresser, and we have a salon in the backyard. So his client comes in, and she goes like, "Hi, David." She's Lynn. She's from Georgia. And so anyway, I go, "Hey, do you want to see a drawing I just did for Charles?" And he goes, "Sure." She goes, "Sure." So she walks back to the salon, and she looks at the drawing, and she goes, "Oh my God, did you cry?"
Oh, that's funny.
And he looked at me like, "How did you do that?"
That's so cute. That's funny.
It was super cute. So I was sort of like, okay, I was like, I've got to do something with this, right?
So that was 6 years ago?
That was, yeah, that was 6 years ago. And and it's like I always had the ability, like I was a better drawer, like I said in school, but to me, a gift was like singer, somebody who could sing and blow me away, right?
Well, you said you didn't value drawing, but now that's changed.
It has totally changed. And the thing is that I've learned is that you should embrace what's been given to you, because that's what you're really going to be good at. And you might not think it's the direction you want to go in, but I have to say, I've never been happier.
Oh, okay. Is that advice? I was going to ask you, what advice would you give to emerging artists who might be listening to this podcast? Is that your advice?
My advice is, yeah, embrace what you can do and what people react to, and also think of it in a business mindset, because most creative people are horrible when it comes to making money. They can't budget. They don't know how long something's going to take, and don't ever tell anybody how long something's going to take, because everybody asks that question. But one person who was a famous artist, his wife told me, don't ever tell them. Because it's not about how long it took you to paint it. It's really how long did it take you to get there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just, yeah, embrace what you want to do and believe in yourself, and also be smart about it. Like if you did a painting and people like it, see if you can make prints of it. See if you can make lithographs of it. See if you can build your own store like on an Etsy or something like that.
Great advice.
Yeah, and if you build a website or whatever, remember, if you don't tell people where it's at or you promote it, it's like having a party and not inviting anybody. Nobody's going to see it.
Great advice. Great advice. Describe your aesthetic in 3 words.
Detailed, simple, sophisticated. Emotional too, which is 4 words, but we'll talk about that.
That's 4 words. Okay, I'll let you have the 4 words. Do you think creativity is something you're born with or something you're taught?
It's something you're born with.
You do, definitively.
Yeah, my mom used to tell me when I was like 4 years old, she'd come out in an outfit and I go, "Oh, you should put on your yellow dress." And she'd change clothes. So I didn't know what I was doing at the time, and have an opinion. That's another thing. Everybody's going to argue about it because it's creative. Creative is not a math problem where 2 + 2 always equals 4.
Right, that's true.
It's all about how the person emotionally feels about it,
Yeah, yeah, and what the painting or the print or the photograph emotes from
Oh,
someone.
exactly. And it's like where I start with my drawings, like I told you, like when it comes to a dog or whatever, it's always with the eyes. Always. Because if you get the eyes, you'll get the whole thing.
Because The eyes are the windows of the soul.
Basically, those sayings that you hear all the time and stuff like that they come from somewhere, right? And you know how you've looked in people's eyes and like, whoa.
Right.
It's like when I first met you. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, but you know what I mean? It's like you get a vibe from people, and that's what I think the windows of the soul do. So, because it's like most of the time I do a lot of dead dogs. Like people want me to draw the dogs that have died. I don't know why that is. You would think they would want a picture of it when the dog was still alive, but it doesn't work like that sometimes. But when they get the drawing, they cry because it's so emotional for them and they feel such a connection. Some people have to wait a week or two before they can put it up.
I mean, because your drawings, David, they look like photographs almost.
Almost.
You know,
Sometimes.
they're
Yeah.
so
I mean,
detailed.
I don't see it like that because I look at everything like almost through a magnifying glass. Because when I'm drawing, I put the photograph of because that's like my person sitting there is when I put the photograph on my computer.
Sure.
And I blow it up because I mean, sometimes when you blow up, you see stuff you normally don't see. Like I've seen the reflection of my friend taking the picture of his dog.
In
I
the
can
dog's
see
eye.
that in the eye.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you
and when
draw that?
it just looks like a pattern, but when you really zoom into it, that's what you're seeing.
Uh, it's like, do you draw that reflection in your,
Oh yes, yes. And then I found out he didn't take the picture because I go, this is it was his dog Kevin.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Kevin. That's who. That's who. The dog's such a cute dog.
What's your favorite series that you have?
I can tell you, and it's not because of the drawings, it's because of the meaning behind it. So we have these neighbors. We have a house out in the desert. So we have these neighbors. They like my work and everything like that. We're really good friends. And she wanted to give her wife for her 50th birthday all the dogs they've had together since they've been together.
Oh,
So it's like a timeline of their life through
right.
animals, right? That's super sweet, right? So I drew 5 dogs on one piece of paper. And it
Oh,
was a
wow.
little stressful because if you screw up one dog, you got to start all over.
But I want you just do the face, right? You don't do the body.
It's all about the face, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to draw a dog with 3 legs
What?
because I've seen it. There's a dog in my neighborhood with 3 legs, beautiful dog. But if you look at because when you first look at the dog, you go, wow, that's a really pretty drawing. But then you realize the dog only has 3 legs because at first you wouldn't notice it.
Okay.
So it's your second read.
You have to find that neighbor and ask him if you can draw the
Oh
dog.
no, there's a lot of 3-legged dogs. It's sort of like when you're pregnant. Everybody's pregnant. You just I'll find one day. But I
One
want
day.
a greyhound, beautiful and elegant, but missing something, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the drawings that you do, how long does it take you to complete one on average?
On average, it depends because like my 6x6s, those would probably take, well, I'm not supposed to tell you, Whitney.
I know, but I'm just curious.
You're gonna ask probably around 15 hours, but I have spent up to 40 hours on a drawing.
Wow. I mean, that's
I don't sit there all day and do it because, like my cat. So this is where I'm at with my cat. A little dark, right? So I do a printout of it so I can see what it looks like, and
right.
then this is where I'm at with the drawing.
Okay. Well, you're just started. Well, no, you've got the whole outline done.
Well, I have to rough out the outline of it so I can make the proportions correct. And then I start out like on this case, no eye, because the cat has lost an eye.
I
But
noticed that.
this was a donation I made to an auction because it benefited some sort of animal charity that a friend of mine was involved with.
Okay.
And she just put it out on Facebook, and I thought that girl's always been super kind and nice. I'll help her out. I'll do one. So I did it, and they bought it. And so this was like the mascot for the foundation.
Oh, that's so cool. So do you
Yeah.
donate a lot of your work?
No, because it costs a lot. It takes a lot of time. I have a living. I do a couple of donations a year, and
Okay.
I have an exhibition at the Lapeer Hotel in West Hollywood.
Right now it's up?
Yeah. There's 30 drawings up. They're prints, but they're all framed and they're right out near the bar.
Lapeer Hotel is on Lapeer
Yeah, in West Hollywood.
in West Hollywood. Okay, everyone
Hampton Lapeer Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. It's very pretty, really nice.
I haven't seen those 30 drawings, and I'm going to go tomorrow and drive over there and check them out.
Okay, yeah, they're right outside. There's a guy named James. He does stuff that looks like Picasso, and he's got like a gallery right next to the bar. It's right outside of where he is.
Okay.
But it's near the bathroom, so everybody sees them.
They're all framed. 30.
They're all framed and matted, and I mat everything with a black mat and a black frame because it makes the drawing pop. You got to figure out how to make your work look the best it can be, and that's what I've discovered is that
you want it to
black
pop.
on black works.
Yeah, you want it to pop.
Yeah, you want to show your work in the best light that you can. And a lot of my work is black and white, so you got to keep it simple when you're doing stuff but I would like to do a bigger format. The dog drawings look awesome when they're 12 by 12. They look really good. Really, they look art.
What sizes do you offer?
I offer any size as long as I can fit it on a piece of paper, and you can get paper like 36. It's 36 by 48 or something like that. It's whatever the art store has.
That's big. Okay.
And yeah, so you can do that, but I do a lot of them for 6 by 6s. That's what's at the Lapeer Hotel, and it sounds small, but it's not. And then I do 8 by 10s, or no, 8 by 10s. Yeah, 8 by 10s. And I do I've done a few 12 by 12s, and I've done a 28 by 36. That's the one that took 40 hours. It was the grizzly bear.
Do you have a message or philosophy behind your work?
Yeah, you can always make it better.
Okay.
Because I look at it and people tell me how good it is, but I feel like I always can make it better.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know how, I mean, they're darn good, so I don't know how.
Well, yeah, but it's sort of like I had an accountant when I had my company, and her name's Nancy, and she's really awesome. And I used to send her my work all the time. And I'd send her a picture of a dog, and she goes, "Is there anything you can't do?" And I go, "QuickBooks."
She's like, "That's what I'm here for."
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, these are just off the top of your head. What is your favorite season?
Oh, my favorite season is probably spring. And I would say that because we live in Southern California, where it's like, come on, it has the most beautiful weather of any place. Even when we're in a 3-year drought, you still go out there and think it's so pretty. And plants here like crazy. And everybody has a dog, right? So, but when spring, and you're walking around I have a neighborhood I live in. When I walk around the neighborhood, the roses are like twice as big as they normally are. And I grew up in Oklahoma where things don't grow like they do out here. So it's amazing. There's a childlike quality in me that embraces that stuff because to me, it's like magical, right? When you see something or an orchid and everything looks sexual too when it comes to plants.
Orchids, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's built like a woman.
What's your favorite food?
Well, I'm going to make a meatloaf tonight, but I love Mexican food. I just love it. I grew up on it. Yeah,
you grew up on it?
Tacos. I love like fast food.
Fast. Okay. That's
I love like.
Don't say it.
I just love it's like. Really fancy dining is just lost on me. If you give me a really good grilled cheese with crispy bread and grade cheese, is that like
that sounds good
ever? Right?
Tomato bisque soup to go along with it.
Well, could be that. I don't know. I like onion rings.
Do you listen to music when you draw?
No, but it does influence it. I listen to the TV.
And do you listen to just like news or?
No, I listen to those crime shows where somebody else. Yeah, they're trying to figure out because you listen to all the forensics and stuff like that. I find it really interesting. But people are so stupid the way they harm people and kill. I mean, it's like, why don't you just get a divorce,
Like NCIS and like that? Like CSI?
Well, the thing is, I can draw and I don't have to see the picture to understand what's going on.
Oh, okay. But you do need that, I don't want to say noise in the background, but you need.
Oh, yeah. I've grown up with noise. I'm a really loud person on top of it. So it's just like normal.
Okay, I
Yeah,
understand
I
that.
have dogs. Like my dog's over here playing right now, destroying stuff. So,
Yeah, you like to have something else going on. I understand
well,
that.
it's nice to be surrounded by stuff that is like, even though those crime shows, they're so, to me, they're almost just some of the stuff that you see on there. You're so blown away how people think. So, anyway, it's just stuff like that.
Okay, thank you for answering that. All right, now I want to tell everyone once again, David's site is davidwayneheise.com. So it's DavidWayneheise.com. You can also follow him and follow me on Instagram. So our handles are at Art Dimensions, and his is at David_Wayne_Heise. Heise is how you spell it again.
Everything's lowercase too.
And everything's lowercase. Thank you for
Yeah.
including that. I hope you follow us. And if you have time, please rate and review this podcast. It's really what helps us expand our reach. So, is there anything else, David, you want the listeners to know about you before we sign off?
Well, you always need work when you're an artist, so look at my stuff and give me a job. But I
That's great.
also really, it's like you'll reach a certain point in your life where you feel like I want to do something else. Don't be scared. Just go do it. You
Go
know?
for it.
Yeah, it'll all work out. It might not work out exactly the way you think it's going to work out, but it all works out and you're going to be okay. And, it's like when you start doing something you really care about, it's like you don't have any stress. It feels really good. I mean, there is stress, but it doesn't, it's different. It's different.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
lovely.
worth it.
It's worth, oh, that's a great way to end. It's worth it. All right. So, to David and to everybody listening, have a wonderful week and happy creating.